1. Let's go.
Let's go. Let's go.
Happy
What's
Sunday.
up?
it took forever to fucking finally get into an agreement and sit down and be able to chop it up and chat with you.
Exactly. No, likewise, man. I know you've been busy. I've been busy, but it's good that we actually found, like you said, some time where we can sit down and do this podcast. Because how long has it been?
It's been since last what was it? Last
Last
Friday,
podcast.
right?
Yes,
It was
yes,
last Friday.
definitely.
Last Friday that we recorded. And in all honesty, it was the last week. That last Friday was actually supposed to be last Monday,
Yeah, yeah.
and this week is actually supposed to be
It's
this
supposed
week
to
that just
be.
passed by because it's already
Yeah,
basically the end of the week. I mean, tomorrow it's Monday, and basically we start all over, right?
exactly. So that basically we're behind in
Yeah,
schedule.
we're behind. I mean, we're not really behind. I mean, yeah, we're behind, bro. Let's not bullshit.
we're behind unless we record tomorrow,
Yeah,
and
we,
then
if we
we'll catch up.
record tomorrow, basically we're back on track. But I feel
Back on
with
track.
the last podcast, there was a lot of gems that were dropped, so it makes
Yeah.
it very easy to kind of what do you call it? I don't want to say it's like an escape route, bro, but I feel like in the last podcast we dropped a lot of gems that people probably could take in and just kind of repeat over and over again because I feel like in the last podcast we dropped a lot of good life lessons.
Mm. Mm. No, that's true, man. And it's always good to like you know how it says quality over quantity. So I feel like you said, man, like last podcast, like you said, it was a lot of diamonds, a lot of things that was said that people can take in, marinate into it, and then following with this podcast. But it's always good talking to you. It's always good hearing your perspective on a lot of different things, on movies, on music, on training, on life in general. And it's always good, because you keep it real. We keep it real in this podcast.
We
And
keep we keep it 92 plus 8 100.
92 plus 8%. Yeah,
No, yeah.
yeah, man.
It's just weird, bro, because it's like I just recently seen a meme, bro, that was talking about when you're a kid, it's just like let's hang out, and it's literally like 20 minutes in the next day, like we're hanging out, and then I saw the meme
Yeah.
that's like making plans as an adult, let's hang out, and then they mark the date like 3 months from now and shit.
3 months from now on. And it's crazy because, like, now, man, like I said, I used to go out. I used to, like, hang out with my friends, just going out. Always in the city, And I guess now that I'm growing older and I have like a different mentality, I mean, I have a lot of friends now with the same kind of mentality that I have. And they're like, nah, I don't go out that much. I just stay at home. I'm a homebody, studying, reading, writing, music, you know, uh, which is very healthy. I'm not saying that going out and doing all that stuff is bad, but like me, when I used to go out to a lot of restaurants, I used to go
Hmm.
out with a lot of restaurants and I'll use my credit card and I just go out to eat. I just go out to eat because I grew up not having money,
Hmm.
you know, and like who hasn't, right? And so when I got my credit card, I was like, man, I'm gonna go out. So I would go out to go eat, and then I come home, go back out to go eat, and then go home, and then the same thing, and it came to the point where like I was falling behind on that.
Hmm.
It's not bad, like I said, it's not bad to go out, but it's always good to be disciplined in the area of finances, which I was really bad at. And now I've learned that now that I don't really go out that much, I don't really spend a lot of money as I used to.
Hmm.
Not my money, credit card's money, but still, like Family Guy, credit card debt.
Hmm.
But finally, thank God that I have a job where I'm able to bounce back and do all of that. But I kind of like I said, I hang around with like those group of people that now have that mentality uh, where it's all about growth and being responsible, you know. Because there's times when a lot of us, and even for me, a lot of us that have that mentality, like we're already like grown already, and we just want to like go out. Like, there's nothing wrong with that, but we just want to go out.
Mm-hmm.
We want to do this. We want to do this instead of like before I used to hate waking up at 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. I was like, nah, I need my sleep. Or I used to hate going to the gym. Or I used to hate to read. I used to hate to not write like a book, but I used to love writing music. But writing the book was different, you know. So I used to like love and hate relationship with writing.
Mm-hmm.
But like now, but now it came to the point where um, the whole, like I said, that whole shift of mentality where, okay, I want to stay home. I'd rather just hang at the house, work whatever needs to be worked on, you know. And to me, speaking to myself, that's a healthy relationship with
Mm-hmm.
myself and the relationship that I have with God and everything, you know.
Yeah.
It's good.
I feel like people should have the opportunity to enjoy stuff in moderation, bro. I mean, it's always
Mm-hmm.
like you said, like there's nothing bad with you going out and maybe getting a couple drinks, or if you like smoking weed. There's nothing wrong with it, bro. Like if I'm being
Yeah.
honest, there's nothing wrong with it. The only thing is it becomes a problem when it's consumed excessively, or where you're
When it takes,
constantly just going out and like that's all you really want to do. Everything in moderation
yeah,
is good because why do we work, bro? We work basically to keep our, to have our survival needs met, but at the same time, we
yeah,
also work to enjoy luxuries, whether it be
yeah.
buying a new car or going out with a group of friends or going on a vacation. You get me? Depending on what you're willing to sacrifice, then of
Yeah.
course, if you save a lot of money or invest money or you're able to just, maybe you only go out once a year, bro, because you spend all of the year working
Mm-hmm.
and your only means of like leisure time or vacation time would be at the end of the year you take a big vacation. Like everything
Mm-hmm.
is good, bro, as long as it's done in moderation. At least in my opinion, you get me? Because
Yeah.
even like think about it like this: even too much water, bro, is a bad thing.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
so I feel.
And,
Oh, what's up? Go for it.
oh, no, no, go ahead, go
No, no,
ahead.
no, go.
Oh no, I was saying I agree with you. Like everything in my, because like you said, even water, too much water is bad for you.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, I mean, like I said, I don't have nothing against the whole drinking, the whole smoking.
Mm-hmm.
I don't do it. I mean,
Yeah.
I haven't drank in months. It's about to be a year that I haven't drank
Mm-hmm.
liquor, beer, anything, or smoked, or none of that. So at least to me, like I said, like I don't do it just because it's what I chose, and it helps me. Like I said, it helped me with my relationship with God. You know,
Mm-hmm.
so that's one of the things why I don't do it. But again, like I know with the whole week thing, there's people that do need it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, to me, is obviously as long as it doesn't become a master.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? To you. But again, at least to me, I wouldn't encourage it. But that's just who I am and what I see now. You know,
Yeah.
like I have friends that do it, but doesn't mean that I'm gonna treat them different. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like I'll hang out with you and everything, but if they offer me a drink, I'll say no. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
That's I shifted lane, but it doesn't mean I'm gonna treat that person differently. You know, regardless of the situation or whatever. But yeah, man. Even with the whole like right now I'm trying to lose weight, right? But I eat a lot, but right now I'm trying to like figure out. I'm still in the whole like trying to figure out, okay, like my whole routine. Should I eat a lot one meal and then the next meal protein shake and then like a little healthy snack and then you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But again, like it's all about personal. Like, what do you choose? Because my friend that works out with me, he's really really bad
Yeah.
and he's built. You know, he can eat like 15 to more plus whatever tacos, whatever. You know, he can eat a lot.
Yeah.
But and I told him like, bro, like you eat a lot, and it's like, well, I work out, you know. But obviously, we have different goals. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But it's all about what you want, and you are what you take in your body. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's just about like knowing yourself and having or knowing your limits. Of course, I mean, like you said, everybody's built different. Everybody's gonna have different choices in life. So at the end of the day, I mean, it's like you said, like going out with people. Some people won't
Yeah,
drink. Some people will smoke weed. Some people won't smoke weed. They'll drink. Or some people go to the extreme, right, and get crossfaded and
yeah,
do both. You feel me?
yeah,
like I said, everybody of course has their own limits, and even then, like just even look at alcohol itself, bro. There's some people that
Yeah,
don't really get drunk off of like 2 or 3 beers. You get me? Like they
yeah,
need 5 plus. You get me? Of course, I'm not saying that's a
yeah.
good thing, but you know,
But
like
yeah,
some
I
people,
know.
like it's all different, bro. It's all different, and of course, the life choices that you've made up to that point, of course, somewhat dictated. You get me? Because as fucked up as it sounds, you get me? Like maybe an alcoholic or somebody that's been drinking for a
Yeah,
long time won't get drunk off of 3, 4 beers. You feel me? So,
yeah, and with the whole thing, sorry for cutting you off,
mm-hmm,
but I seen a picture, right? I seen a picture, and the picture it's like a meme. You can say it's a picture that said there's these two brothers, and they have a dad, a parent that drinks,
mm-hmm,
and one of them doesn't drink because of the parent, and the other one drinks because of the parent.
mm-hmm,
You know, so it's just the perspective of obviously perspective and choice yourself. You know what I mean? And like you said, man, there's people that can drink a lot. There's people that lightweight, heavyweight, all of that. But uh, um, like I said, I'm not saying it's bad. It's just to me, speaking for myself,
mm-hmm.
like I found, like I said, with the whole shifting, like I found it like going to the gym and taking my supplements and doing all of this kind of like didn't give me the desire to even like drink anymore. You know,
Mm-hmm.
that's just for me. You know, it kind of like something just like had to change. You know what I mean? And I see myself getting healthier. You know what I mean? But but um, but yeah, man, that's I agree with you to what you're saying, man.
You ended up working out today.
Bro, I went to the gym, man. I went to the gym. I've been. So at the beginning when I started my whole fitness journey,
mm-hmm,
my friend will obviously take like supplements, like those pills that kills cravings, or
mm-hmm,
uh, there's some tablets that I don't know. He just takes tablets like to I guess to help you bulk, if I'm not mistaken, and for the joints and stuff. And to me, I've always been like kind of like spectacle because I'm just like, is it bad for you? Is it not bad for you? You know? And even with pre-workout and creatine, at the beginning, I'm like, okay, is this healthy? Is it a risk or anything? But obviously, like I grew into it, as I got it more further into my fitness journey,
mm-hmm.
and I literally been taking nothing but like alpha line, and it's been working, man. Like I'm taking the one that the burn, the
Mm-hmm.
2-in-1,
Yeah.
and I went to the gym, bro, and I was sweating 2 times more than what I was sweating already.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I felt it, and I always wear like long sleeves so it can help me. But again, going with the whole choosing and everything, um, that's that's kind of like my recommendation is that offline. But I encourage anybody that wants to get into the fitness journey and fitness life. It all starts with just like just going and trying and asking if you need help, because like I said in the beginning, when I started going, I didn't know what I was doing. And I felt like I looked dumb, and I'm like, okay, what do I do, you know? And it's all about asking. So if you want to grow, don't be afraid to ask questions.
Yeah, that's
So
true.
my only and for help. And that's my advice.
Yeah, I think that you've also said something very important before. I mean, besides asking for help and getting good resources to help you out or start or begin or basically go through
Hmm.
with all of your fitness journey. Another thing that you had mentioned before, bro, is basically doing your research. I feel a lot of
Hmm.
people, they just buy into the marketing, and the marketing in itself, its sole purpose is just to sell to you. They don't necessarily really care too much about the health aspects of it, especially in the fitness world, bro. Where I mean, people nowadays, they want to get, like, most supplement companies look for athletes or people with a good following, and those
Yeah.
athletes or those, I guess you could call them influencers, just sell things without really knowing like the ingredients or what's inside of them or what the real benefits are. And I feel like another big thing that people should probably do is, of course, look at resources, look at a bunch of studies. That way, they're able to make the right decisions for themselves. Because in the
Mm.
long run, sometimes like some of these products could be very unhealthy for certain people, or certain individuals with some type of illness or some type of disease. So it's always good to look at the research, look at some of the studies, look at paper,
Exactly.
look at reviews. But even then, like the reviews, I mean, sometimes they're very hard to like believe because
Yeah.
nowadays you could also buy people to create good reviews for
Make a
your.
review.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
with that being said, is I had went to this supplement shop. I went and got my protein, got my pre workout and everything. And I was talking to this guy, the guy that works there. He's
Mm-hmm.
like, "What is your goal?" And I was like, what pre workout do you want to take, or what do you take?" And he's like, and this is what I like about people that know, because they know, you know what I mean? Like this guy who was telling me, he was like, "Do you drink energy drinks?" And I was like, "I used to, and once in a while I have an energy drink." And he says, "Which one made you feel like the worst?" You know? And then he said, "Which one made you feel like, okay, gave you the jitteries, but you know?"
Mm-hmm.
So to me, it was like, okay, he's kind of like trying to like see where I'm at with the whole energy drink,
Mm-hmm.
so he can recommend me a pre workout,
Yeah.
And that's how I took it, and I was like, okay, this guy knows what he's talking about. So that's the reason why, like, to me, like I said, there's new things that I'm learning at the gym. I see
Mm-hmm.
people using machines, and then I tell my trainer, so why is he using that machine as for legs, but he's using it for arms? You know what I mean? Like he's like, oh, because you can do it because it works out this part of the muscle, and I'm just like, wow, I did not know that. So like I said, like you ask questions and you will learn, and that's how you learn. 'Cause I was one of those guys that I was like, I was afraid to ask questions. So I'm not gonna ask. Because I'm the type of person that I like to stay to myself.
Mm-hmm.
Even though I'm a people person, I like to talk, but I like to stay to myself at times.
Mm-hmm. No, yeah. And then going back to what I was saying, I mean, even then, like even with like people and I mean, just basically creating an idea or ideology or rallying people up. I mean, even you have to really pay close attention to everything. Let's just say, like on the ingredients of a supplement, just like the same way, like if you were to hear like a small clip of somebody that's a controversial figure, you kind of want to hear
Mm-hmm.
like the whole clip. Basically, you don't really want to take things out of context, and you want to see
Mm-hmm.
basically like the whole picture, not just with like supplements, but also with people themselves. Because nowadays, I mean, even like with people, some people try to like ruin other people's images by just getting a
Yeah.
soundbite of like things that are like totally taken out of context.
Yeah. Exactly. No, I've seen videos like that too. I even seen videos like that with the whole Dragon Ball Z thing. I was like, wait a minute, that doesn't go like, because I mean, who hasn't seen Dragon Ball Z and Super and all of that?
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, that didn't happen, or why is it all edited out? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But I do get it, because I've seen people making videos of like Justin Bieber and Selena Gomez and all of them, and it's like that didn't happen like that. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like you said, if you watch the whole video, then you get what was said and why.
Yeah, you get the
So
like
it's like you said, it's always good to you get the whole story
yeah, you
basically.
get the whole context, bro. I think one of my favorite pictures too, bro, is like going back to what you said, like about point of views, is a picture, bro, of like a dude, like he's on the side and he's going like this, like to a crowd,
Oh yeah,
and it looks
yeah.
like from that side, it looks like he's flicking the crowd off, but I believe he's
Oh
like
yeah,
throwing a three sign though, and it's just like
yeah.
you got to get the whole context, bro. Like you can't just fall off
Exactly.
of like what people are saying or what you're like or the point of view from which you're looking at it from.
Yeah, exactly. Like my one of my pastors when I was going to church. I mean, I'm still going to church, but the church that I used to go to,
Yeah.
one of the pastors was like, two things that I always think about a lot is, don't make a permanent decision for a temporary situation. A
Hmm.
temporary, yeah, no, a temporary emotion for a permanent situation. You know, so obviously critical thinking. And then the second thing is like that he said is like there's there's four perspectives in a story, and there's four point of views in one story. Like, for example, I'm gonna give you a perfect example. Like in the Bible, right? John, Peter, like the disciples.
Hmm.
There's like the books where where they all have their perspective, right?
Yeah.
So it's like if we're at work or wherever we're at, and I just say somebody doesn't want to do this, and you have four people
Mm-hmm.
besides you, so it's five, and and you drop a pen, you know, and then you drop a pen, and then somebody can come and say, no, that pen was mine, or
Mm-hmm.
and then that person said, no, he dropped it, and then oh no, you know, so just different type of, you know, that's kind of like what how I see it. So that's why it's good, obviously, like to to because every step has a purpose, you know.
Yeah.
Like I believe that everything has a purpose in life. Um, we wake up, like I feel like God gives us a purpose why we wake up and why we do things, you know, and to encourage people, to empower other people, to be a leader, you know, uh, different things. But I know I'm changing subjects a little bit, but yeah, that's all I have to say.
No, yeah.
To that, I don't know.
I just want to
I was thinking about it, and I just went blank, and I'm just like, you
yeah,
know,
I just wanted to add in onto what you said about like perspective and like the way that people look at stuff. Just like how you say it about the disciples. I mean, it goes to like those old Aesop tales about like for example like the old man, the boy and the donkey. You get me? Like the
yeah,
old man, the boy and the donkey, they walk through a city and the old man is on the donkey itself and the people that are in that city are saying, "Oh, what an old man! Like doesn't have any manners. Why doesn't he let the young boy on the donkey?" You get me? And the second one,
yeah,
it's like, "Oh, now the young boy is on the mule or the donkey, and now the old man's walking." And it's all like, "Oh, well, poor old man. Like the young dude
yeah,
has all the energy in the world." You get me? And then
yeah,
like in the next one, like both of them are walking next to the donkey. And they're like, "Oh, what dumbasses! One of them could be on the donkey." You get me? It's
on
like,
the donkey.
yeah, it's like, dude, like there's so many perspective and there's gonna be so many ways that people are gonna look at one situation. And at the end of the day, bro, you're not gonna have everyone happy. That's one of the things
Yeah,
that people have to always take into consideration. Like, so there's some
yep,
people that you might be a shy person, bro, and people will think that you're weak because you're shy. Or
mhm,
there's some people that, like, maybe you might be a little bit more extroverted, and people are gonna think that you're loud and obnoxious, and
mhm,
you're just basically an extroverted person, right? You're a social butterfly. So it's
yeah,
like you're never really gonna have all of these people satisfied. Like the old
mhm,
saying goes in Spanish, you get me? You're not gonna be a gold coin to please everyone.
yeah, and you're right, man. Like that's what like you can't be a people pleaser, you know. Like obviously have respect and all of that towards everyone, but you can't please, like you said, you can't please everybody. And if you're trying to please everybody, then you know, like for me, man, like when I was, I don't really say this much, but when I was going to church, um, I used to take a lot of people to their house. You know what I mean? I'll come back to
Mm-hmm.
church, drop them off, back to church, drop them off, and even at work, like even at work now, like I still do this. I used to do the same thing, and people would tell me, bro, like, why are you giving these people rides? Do they even have to pay gas and this and that? You know? And
Uh-huh.
some of them would, some of them wouldn't. You know? And people would tell me, yeah, but what if you didn't have a car? And there was a point I didn't have a car, and nobody was really there for me. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And it sucks, you know, like and to be there for everybody, and then when you need it, you know,
Mm-hmm.
like no one's really there, or some people are, but depending on, you know, and that's why, like now, like I said, with the whole mind shift situation, mentality situation, like I choose my friends. Like
Yeah.
it doesn't mean that I see you as an enemy or I see you as you know as none of that. You
Mm-hmm.
know, because I see everybody the same, but like even if you do me wrong, I'll still look at you the same, and I'll forgive you because I feel like forgiveness will set people free. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? Like I'm not gonna hold a grudge against you. You know, it's like the old saying. It's like if you have unforgiveness in your heart, it's like me giving you a cup with poison in it, and I'm the one drinking it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so with that being said, it's like I still talk to those people. Why? Because I don't hold anything against them. It was just a situation, and sometimes it's a lesson that you learn. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And some people come in, like you know that saying says, people come to your life for a lesson, people come to your life for a blessing. Some, you know, and there's always a message and a message, and there's always a test and a testimony. You know,
Mm-hmm.
and and to me, I have like my circle now where we have those that we go to the gym. We have those that, hey, like I have a friend, like I told you, Ramsey. Like we talk on the phone like almost every weekend, and he encourages me. He's been knowing me since I was 15. And we've seen each other go through multiple jobs, trying to get by. Because it's hard. You know what I mean? Pay all these bills and everything, but it's always good to um, don't be afraid to take that leap of faith. And that's kind of what he was talking to me about, because he had all these jobs and he's like, man, like I'm scared to leave this job because how am I going to provide? Because now he's married. How am I going to provide? You know what I mean? So it's just so sometimes we just have that courage. You know what I mean? And but yeah, that's kind of like what I had. Kind of keeps me motivated, you know.
Oh yeah, like you said, it's always good to surround yourself with people that have the same interest as you and have the same mentality as you. Because, as we talked about it, it's always good to have somebody or people to keep you accountable. Accountability is also a big factor in getting stuff done. I feel, I mean, you don't necessarily need people. Sometimes I feel like a lot of people talk about this a lot, like having a whiteboard or having basically what you want to do or what you need to accomplish every day in front of you is also enough to keep your mind kind of like, hey, this needs to be done, right? And a lot of people are so old school, bro, that they'll go by a list, right? They'll do like, this is what needs to be done every day, and on top of the list, usually they always try to keep the same three things every day because that's the consistency that's gonna get them to where they need to
Yeah,
get to.
yeah, and like I said, I have this other, excuse me, I have this other friend. His name is John, and wife, kid, and everything. And one time I went to his house. He has like a studio in his garage, and I had went. I don't know if I shared this story with you, or if I said it in the podcast before. So if I did, forgive me. But I had went to his house, and we were gonna make a song, and he had a studio in the back in his garage, and and he was like, "Oh, before we record, I need to finish. I need to finish." She just told me to sit down and drink some water, and I was just like looking at what he was doing, and he had this big TV,
Yeah.
like the old school screen TVs. He had one of those, and then he had a big computer
Yeah.
in front of it, and then I was telling him, "Hey, John, what are you doing?" And he was like, "Oh, I'm making a list. I'm making a list of what do you say? A list of things that we have to do, like for himself, for his son, and for his wife."
Yeah.
So he'll make a list like, "Oh, this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go see here. I'm gonna work out. I'm gonna go for a run. This is what I'm gonna eat. This is what I'm gonna do for him and for his son, like go to school, pick him up, whatever. And same for his wife. Like they were really um, how do I say it? Disciplined with their time management. And then, with that being said, him and my other friend Ramsey, they would always tell me like, "Hey, what you call it?" They would always tell me like, "Hey, I was gonna say, if you want to go like to travel, you want to travel, you want to either like go to the store and you spend whatever, like say $5 from whatever you spend, and put it in an envelope. Put it in an envelope, and every time you go to the store, do the same thing, do the same thing, do the same thing, and and eventually, like when you hit a year, you have enough money like to go to different places.
Yeah.
And he's from Italy, so he's like, I'll go to take a trip to Italy, different places. And I never did that, but it kind of like I had that in the back of my mind, like should I try doing that?
Yeah. Why not?
So just yeah, something to just think about. And but yeah, man, yeah. So I kind of get that time management from them. I'm still learning. We learn every day. But
No, yeah, and it's always interesting to see people that function highly with or throughout their day. Like you'll see like the little habits that basically form them throughout the years, like making a list and, as you mentioned, just figuring out what needs to be done every second of the day. I mean, that's consistency, bro. That's consistency right there. Of course, some people don't need a list. Some people, I mean, they've been doing the same thing year after year after year, so they kind of know what needs to be done. But having a list, I feel, especially for us that are starting off, is really good because it's like right in front of you. It's like,
mm-hmm.
here it is, bro. Like, You're gonna do it or not? Like this is
Mm-hmm.
what needs to be done. And of course, like as the years go by, I mean, maybe or maybe not, you won't necessarily need the list anymore. But it's always good to see how high functioning people organize their day and how they go about it, bro. Or like what strategic kind of like plan or what way do they kind of remind themselves or keep themselves in check as they go, day by day.
Yeah, and I agree. I definitely agree. Like right now, like I said, I make that list. The time to wake up, time to go work out. This and that. And I don't use my list anymore. But I'm not gonna say there's some times when I'm just like, I don't want to go to the gym, but I still drag myself to go to the gym.
Yeah.
Or man, I don't want to go for a run, but I drag myself and I go for a run. Like I feel like those are the times where like, oh man, like you're disciplined.
Yeah.
Like like man, like you went when you didn't want to go. And this reminds me of this podcast. My friend, he sent me David Goggins. He sent
Oh,
me
there.
one of the podcasts that he was in, and he was talking about like, man, this is what he says. He's like, I'm a shy person. Like I'm like I get uncomfortable, but this is what he says. He's like I tell myself like this is what I have to do. Like I have to be uncomfortable. And I'm just like, wow, And I was literally listening to it while I was working, and it's just like, man, like those are the times where like I said before, those are the times where you grow. Like the times you don't want to do it, those are the times wow, I'm actually growing. Like wow, like look at me, Like speaking for myself, like there's times I never thought that I'd be going to the gym. I never thought that I'd be taking supplements. I never thought that I'd be disciplined enough to read a book. You know what I mean? I never in a million years thought that I'll sit down willingly to read. You know what I mean? Or to even write a book or to whatever. So it's to myself, it's very inspiring that with the whole shift change of
Mhm.
mind, you know,
Yeah,
I'm
and
able to
it's
do it.
funny that you just said that what you said, bro, about being disciplined. Like in the times that you don't want to do shit, that's when it matters. And I was just hearing an Arnold quote. Well, not really a
Oh
quote,
yeah.
but I believe it was like part of his speech where he was talking about Muhammad Ali. He's all like, Muhammad Ali
Mm.
was one of my greatest idols. And then I remember they asked Muhammad Ali, how many sit-ups do you do? And he's all like, I don't count my sit-ups. I only count after it starts hurting because that's
Yeah.
when it really matters. You get me? And I know that you're
Yeah.
also quite familiar with Jocko because I believe you started to listen to him, right? So Jocko himself was also, I believe he was a SEAL as well, right? I believe
Hmm.
so, yeah. But pretty much he was in the military, right? And he talked about like being disciplined, and he talked about there was days.
He was in the Navy.
Oh, in the Navy, yeah. So there was
Yeah.
times where he was in, what do you call it, like he wasn't really feeling the gym. So for example, he talked about basically like sprints. Like he's all like, oh yeah,
Hmm.
like some days I didn't really feel like sprinting, but on the days where I had to sprint and I didn't feel like it, I would do double, just kind of like
Mm.
at a way to like, I think he's I don't think he used the word punish, but just as a way
Hmm.
to kind of like get it engraved that this is what we're gonna do. And like it was
Yeah.
just kind of like, I guess you could say it was a punishment, but I think he kind of like tried to avoid the word because it has like a negative connotation. So he's like
Yeah.
every day that I don't really feel like doing it, I would do double the work of whatever work I had to do that day, basically.
Yeah. And then again, it goes with like he said, punishing yourself, but not like that. In the context of like it's gonna come with a reward.
Hmm.
And then you don't want to say suffer too, because then that kind of sounds like.
It sounds like
But
a huevo you had to do it.
but but it comes with a reward.
Yeah.
Like bro, like I'm telling you, bro. There was a time when I barely started going to the gym.
Mhm.
I was suffering, bro. I couldn't lift the bar. I
Uh-huh.
was struggling. And then then I started adding fives, and then tens, and then 25s, and then 35, and then so on and so forth. But you have to start somewhere. You have to start somewhere. If you don't start, and you're gonna keep saying tomorrow, 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 tomorrow's never gonna come. And I'm gonna tell you because I'm speaking by experience. I would say, I'll go to the gym tomorrow. My friends, my brothers, everybody would tell me just go to the gym. Tomorrow, and then I got a gym membership. Go once, and then this is my year, and then stop going. And I'm gonna start eating right. And right now, bro, I just been drinking nothing but water, nothing but water, nothing but water. And yes, my pre-workout. And if I do drink juice, I add water to it. But I, am trying to stay away from soda. But I'm gonna try to do this thing with that my friend said, like, it's okay to drink the soda, but for special occasions,
Yeah.
you know,
I like a reward.
and it's a reward. And I was like, I never really seen it like that. I remember last time when I hadn't had soda for a month. I drank me a soda and I was just like, wow, like tastes good. But then I told myself like, be disciplined. You can't go back to it. You can't go back to that. But I did. I'm not gonna lie. I did. I
Yeah.
did go back to that. But now it's been a while since the last time you've seen my story. It's been a while since I haven't drank soda. You know,
Yeah,
because I'm trying to stay
and a lot of people
consistent.
talk about, like, for example, getting off of social media for a while because of, like, when you're on social media, bro, like, you get this dopamine rush from likes, comments, maybe posts that
Yeah.
you like or posts that excites you. And there's a lot of people that actually recommend you stay off social media at least a day out of the week or 2 days out of the week, or, as much as you possibly can. That way, when you're back on it, you kind of like savor, like, you enjoy it more, basically, in the little time frame that you
Yeah.
have. You feel me?
Yeah. Like I know the last time I told you I wasn't gonna be on social media. I think that lasted like a week.
Mm.
I think right, it was a week, and I was like, but I posted. But don't get me wrong, like to me, social media obviously could be good, it can be bad.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like you said, at least twice. You know what I mean? Twice a week, bro. My friend Ramsey, bro, he doesn't even have a Facebook. He don't have a Facebook. He don't have Twitter. He doesn't have nothing.
Yeah.
He still has that. He still has a flip phone.
Yeah, I remember you
Actually, no.
told me.
I said no. I think he told me he got an iPhone. I think I'm not 100% sure. But the last time I seen him, he had a flip phone, and I know I mentioned it before. And I told him, hey, you don't have to. He's very old school,
Yeah.
you know. And he's like, I don't believe in that, BS. And I don't believe in that, you know. Like he's like, I don't turn it down or whatever. But he said, I don't put it down, like talking bad about it. It's just not for me, you know. And this guy's very healthy, like
Yeah.
very healthy in every aspect. I was like, I would go see him every weekend when we lived close to each other. I'll
Yeah.
drive to his house, or he'll come pick me up, and we'll go by the beach and just talk, you
Yeah.
know. And he would always keep it real. But thank God for phones, because we're able to talk on the phone. But
Mm-hmm.
he taught me a lot that I know,
Yeah.
like taught me a lot. He's the one that actually taught me not to catch a train, because obviously I catch trains before, but he's the one that told me about the whole Hollywood, like not the whole thing, but how do I explain it? Like, living in LA all my life, and I never had went to Hollywood.
Yeah.
And I know I mentioned this before,
Uh,
but he told me when I was 15, hey, bro, he gave me some money, because obviously I didn't have money back then. Like, hey, this is for the bus fare and for the train for you to come see me. Catch the bus, catch the red line, get off on, I think it was on Vermont and whatever, and that was the first time I had went over, most of my life. But it's always good to surround yourself with people like that,
mm-hmm.
that want to see you grow, that want to see you like, okay, what's the next step? You know? But yeah, man.
Yeah, like, it's cool, bro, that you've had a lot of, like, good mentors.
Sure.
I feel like, for the most part, me, I've never really sat down with somebody and actually gotten, like, crazy advice. Of course, there's some people, of course, that you interact with, or I've had the fortune to interact with for a few,
Yeah.
minutes, few days, maybe a semester, right, with some professors. And then, yeah,
Yeah.
they'll drop knowledge, and sometimes they drop gems or things that will be very important or beneficial down the line. But for the most part, bro, I've never had, like, I'm a bit jealous, bro. I'm not gonna lie that, like, you've had some mentors, bro, that, like, have told you, hey, this is how this works, this is how this is gonna go down, and that are
But
able to, like, help you out too.
but and thank you for seeing that. And I always thank them, and they're always like,
Mm-hmm.
you don't have to thank me. You don't have to thank me. I do it because they're like, you're my brother and I love you.
Yeah.
But to be honest, man, they will give me all this advice. Obviously, they were older than me, they've been through a lot and they lived more than me, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't start taking their advice until the beginning of this. I know the beginning of this year, beginning of last year, kind of. Actually no, towards the end of last year. That's when I was like starting to like, okay, I'm gonna prioritize. I'm gonna stop. I'm gonna start doing this. I'm gonna start writing my goals down. This and that.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously with the whole motivational stuff on YouTube, um, where Steve Harvey's like, write down where you want to go,
Yeah.
right? What color you want, what car you want, year, model, and all of that. What kind of house, how many rooms, and he said every successful person in my life writes their goals down.
Yeah.
And I wrote that. I've been writing some stuff down, like obviously things that I want to accomplish this year, and which is to get buff. Not just saying, but some things that I want to accomplish this year that are my long term goals,
Mm-hmm.
and obviously my small term goals.
Yeah, short term goals.
And it feels good when you accomplish either one. Like, man, I can't believe I accomplished it, and then you just cross it out and go on to the next, and then you just keep adding more. Like, okay, you know.
Yeah, like a man on a mission, man with a purpose.
Yeah, exactly. If you have a purpose in life, if you have a purpose, and I always tell this, like I always say this, like, God, what is my purpose in life? Like, what am I supposed to do? You know, and like I pray about it, and I'm just like, okay, what am I supposed to do? And also help people, but like what's the direction that I need to take? And I feel like He's opening doors. Like I'm a big believer that God's time is perfect. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No,
Uh,
and it's
uh,
great. It's crazy that you were talking about God and like praying, because honestly, I was just talking to someone, bro, and we were just talking about like how life or this year is just starting a little bit rocky,
mm,
and at the same time, bro, the same kind of like going along with what you're saying. Basically, what he told me was the same thing that you're telling me now. It's just basically like pray, meditate, whether you're praying to your God or meditating to the universe, but just like you said, like ask for stuff, bro. Like
yeah,
like he basically, I believe it's in the Bible, right? Ask and you shall receive, right?
yeah, yeah,
So yeah, bro, it's just I don't know if like the world is trying to tell me something, bro, because you're
yeah,
telling me something and he's telling me something, and it's almost kind of like the same thing, bro. And it's just like, man, I really got to start meditating or praying, bro, because I
yeah,
mean, if like if two people are telling you, I mean, the third one would
yeah,
technically be the strike, right?
yeah. It's like a confirmation,
Uh huh.
and obviously like you just have to like, how do I say it? If it brings peace to you, and like from my perspective, from the perspective like of a believer, it's like that's a good thing, if you're at peace, you know, that's all that matters, honestly.
Yeah, and sometimes we just kind of like need that meditation, bro, to be able to kind of like ease our mind, soothe our soul. And I feel like a lot of times, bro, a lot of us feel like, oh shit, like I feel frustrated and I feel mad or sad. And sometimes it's just like trauma that like you haven't really figured out, or it's just basically pent up stress or anxiety. And I was just reading a book on like praying and meditation as well.
Mm,
Was not really a whole book on it, but it had like a little subject matter on it. Like there was like
yeah,
a chapter on it, and it just talked about how meditation and praying, bro, is not really so much about like suppressing your feelings and trying to get yourself to be calm. It's just about like feeling everything to let everything go, bro. So you could be
mm,
finally feel at peace. It's like because most meditation, most prayers, they tell you like pray and meditate. So when you're done, or like basically to suppress your feelings, like get back to feeling. But the moment you're out of meditation or prayer, like it's like you ramp up back to where like you started.
yeah,
And like the book talked about how like in the old school days, I mean, meditation and prayer was like you would feel things, like you would just let things like basically like flow through you, basically like just as you're praying or meditating, just kind of like let out those expressions or feel like you're letting out those expressions of anger or sadness, not to
yeah,
suppress them.
yeah, and I agree. That's why like obviously like when I pray, I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna trust you. I'm just gonna trust you, whatever you're doing in my life. And I feel like that is like again with the whole purpose thing, like whatever. Because I meditate too. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And my friend Ramsey's the one that got me into meditating, and he helped me how to like learn how to pray and everything. And it really brings a lot of peace into your life. You know, like knowing that you're in God's hands. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, at least to me, like it does. You know?
Oh yeah, like I mean, I've tried meditation, bro. Not like your old school meditation, kind of like more like breath control, bro. Like
Mm.
I would,
Like Demon Slayer.
yeah, basically kind of like that, bro. But more like for relaxation and stuff. So I actually have this thing called the O2 lung trainer, which is
Okay.
some if you put it in your mouth basically, bro, and you kind of like breathe in through that instrument or through that tool, and it
Yeah.
just kind of like blows up your stomach, bro. Like so it's like a very like deep inhalation, and it's just really calming and relaxing, bro. Of course, like the main purpose of it is to actually strengthen up your lungs, right? Like your
Yeah.
VO2 max like capacity, but you could also use it for like breath work. And in all honesty, bro, like you feel very good. And then another thing that I like to do is like the Wim Hof breathing technique, where it's like you take like 30, I believe it's like 30 to 50 like deep breaths like over and over again, bro, and then you hold your breath for a little bit, and then you
Mm.
like chill out, and then like you just kind of feel lightheaded, and like your body cools down, and you could just kind of like feel your blood flowing. It's like a really like weird crazy feeling, bro, but it's like
Yeah.
it's like really good for you, and at the same time it's like very relaxing. It's like badass, bro, because there's this like Iceman that actually like created it, because he mostly what he
Yeah.
utilized it for is to take like ice plunges, like basically get into like icy rivers and stuff, and get in there.
Mhm.
And he would basically breath control. So you get me, like he doesn't like hyperventilate and get like hypothermia and stuff. So
Yeah. That's
it was good, bro. It's cool, and
that's
it's a nice feeling, bro.
that's really cool, man. I'm really glad. Honestly, I didn't even know that such a thing existed. Well, I'm pretty sure, everything. But that's cool, man. That you found that, and you use it. What I just use my Apple Watch, man. I put it on breathe, and
Uh-huh.
just how it tells you breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out, and that's just what I do. It gives you a minute to do it. You can do it longer,
Mm-hmm.
but I just do it like that for a minute, man. Just obviously inhale, exhale, and that's it. But that's good. Like I said, like that you found that instrument, that thing to help you.
You use a lot of white noise too, huh? Like you have like a bunch of like stuff playing in the background to like relax too, no?
Well, I only use that when I go to sleep.
Oh, I thought you would use it
All,
like in regular times too.
no, no, no. I only use it when I go to sleep. Like when I'm praying or meditating. If I'm praying, then yeah, I'll listen probably to like worship music or praise music or stuff like that. But
Uh-huh.
if I'm gonna meditate, I don't really use, you know,
Uh-huh.
I don't really do that. I just because the thing is about meditation. Like my friend told me, because he's the one that taught me how to do it. Like
Mm-hmm.
when you gotta do it, you don't have to do it for just do it for like 10, 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Close your eyes and don't think about nothing. The first time I tried, I'm like Ramsey, like I can't stop thinking. He says he told me ultra instinct, and I'm just playing. No, he just told me just like close your eyes and think about nothing, and I'm like I can't think about nothing. I have all these bills I know that I gotta pay.
Yeah.
No, I'm just playing. But he just told me like just think about nothing, just relax, don't think of nothing, just. And at the beginning, I couldn't, because all I would do is just your mind runs, you know.
Mm.
But obviously, like once I started learning, I like to meditate outside or like in the backyard,
Yeah.
because then you can hear the birds. I like love the birds, man. Like, just like close my eyes and just listen.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. It's very peaceful.
Oh yeah, same thing, bro. Like let's say like we'll do breath control with one of like my old trainees that I would have. So as we were training, bro, like we would train like kind of like kill ourselves basically physically,
Yeah,
and then after that we would just like lay down some mats, bro, like here in the yard, and we would train like in the middle of the day, bro. So it was really warm depending on the season, right? And after that, bro, we would just kind of like do our breath work, in out, and like go through that cycle like 3 or 4 times, bro. Maybe like in total, like you said, like a 10 minute like session, bro. And we feel real good,
yeah,
bro. And as we would basically open our eyes, bro, like you said, like like once our senses, well, not our senses, bro, but once we started to like concentrate instead
Mm-hmm.
of just like on our inner selves, it's like when we started concentrating like on the world around us, then of course the
Mm-hmm.
first thing that you hear is of course the cars passing by, the birds, and then since like that we live like basically on the pathway of the planes,
Yes.
like we finally start hearing the planes, and it's crazy, bro, because the planes pass like about every like 3 minutes, right? There's always like a plane passing, and Loki, like as we're doing the meditation or like the breath work, like we're not really, yeah, like we're not we're, like that is the last thing on our mind. Like it doesn't even, like we don't really focus on that, so we don't even hear
Mm.
the planes because we're so focused and so we're in tune with
Yeah.
like what we're doing. But it's crazy, like once we kind of like open up our eyes and just kind of get away from like the breath work or the
Yeah.
meditation, it's like we everything comes to us at the same time
Yeah.
basically, and it just kind of
Exactly.
like
Because you.
shows you like how much fucking sensory like information we're taking all at once, bro. Like we're taking in
Yeah.
all at once.
It's like this, man. Like we live in a very busy Los Angeles, New York, all of that stuff. Like it's always busy, right?
Yeah.
People want to go here, go there, go here, go there, and we don't really take the time. Well, I know we do, but a lot of us don't take the time to like stop and just let it sink in. So when we
Yeah.
do, and we, like you said, we open our eyes, what happens? Like, because we're so used to moving fast and this and that, like you said, everything comes at once.
Mm.
The cars, the trains, the the buses, everything, you know. So that's why I feel like it's good to take some time alone, you know. Like
Mm-hmm.
I used to hate being alone, man. I hated it. I like to. I love being around people. I love going. Like I said, I used to love. That's the reason why I used to love going out to eat and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't, but now obviously, like it's when at least for me, like once you get older, you enjoy peace. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? You just want to be in your circle, in your home, in your place, and that's it. You know?
And that's probably like why as like we get older, bro, like we enjoy nature a little bit more because
Mm-hmm.
we don't really, like you said, like you don't really kind of take into consideration like everything that you're taking all at once because of the fact that like since you're so used to it, like it's somewhere where you're constantly at, it's where you live, like you don't really pay
Yeah.
attention to like the cars passing by, the planes, the trains, the people that are pretty loud, the cars
Yeah.
screeching, like you don't really pay attention to it, and your body does though. Your body picks up all of this and it sounds or it's like very stressful to the body, and then when you're in nature, bro, you feel more at peace because there's not so much noise, there's not so much like
Yeah.
chaos, there's not so much hectic people or hectic things going all around you. So when your brain and your body finally don't have all of these sensory information coming all at you at once, like it's just like damn, bro, like I'm really at peace, like taking a hike or
Mm-hmm.
losing myself in the woods, you get me, because it's like maybe like at most what you'll hear is maybe like the animals passing by, or if there's a river passing by, and like you just feel more at peace. I don't know if that makes sense to you.
Yeah. No. No. It really makes a lot of sense because, like I said, me and Ramsey, we'll go hiking a lot. We'll go hiking. We go to Griffith Park.
Fair
And that
part.
was another park that we used to
Yeah.
go, and we used to like hike. And at the beginning, I couldn't do it. He's like, "Come on, you can do it. You can do it." You know.
Yeah.
And it was fun doing that. You know, going out in nature and doing that, and then we'll go home and then we'll meditate. He's a very like a healthy guy,
Mm-hmm.
so he'll be like, "Oh, get a bagel with olive oil instead
Yeah.
of sugar, or,
Mm-hmm.
or, or instead of sugar or or butter." You know,
Yeah.
I think I mentioned this last time
Yeah.
when he gave me a bagel with olive oil and black coffee. He's like, "Don't add sugar, don't add milk, just black coffee."
Mm-hmm.
And I was just like, wow, you know. So he had taught me a lot, you know, a lot of moderation stuff. Like he wouldn't really go out to drink; he would just drink like one, and that's it, you know. So he obviously taught me a lot of like moderation stuff. But yeah, man, I feel like in the beginning when you start meditating, at least when it's just like a few first times, like what I think, like again, going like we're so used to the fast pace that 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 I feel like it brings us back to our to where we really are like our inner peace ourselves, you know. Like you, I don't know, like when I do it, it just it makes me just pause and just like even when I go grocery shopping or when I go to church or when I go anywhere like at
Mm-hmm.
work, I there's times when I just like stop and I'm just like, like it's just pause and just like wow, you just enjoy it. Like oh man, you just enjoy like look at the sky. You know what I mean? I
Uh-huh.
remember one time. I remember one time, man. I went with Say Yes. It was this after school program in Skid Row
Yeah.
for the inner city people, uh, and for the homeless people. And there's this program called Say Yes, where a lot of us would go, after school,
Uh-huh.
and we would go like camping, go watch a movie. It was a lot of us, right? And I remember one time, man, I'm just like, we go camping, and there was a lot of us, man, and we go camping, and we're having dinner, and this place is called Forest Home, right? And so this place is called Forest Home, and we're having dinner. We go out and play games, then we do worship, and then there's a big lake where we can jump like on the blob, you know, and we'll play in the mud and we'll wrestle or whatever, or go kayaking. But that one night, bro,
Uh-huh.
I was laying down in the sand, bro, and and it was like a big, beautiful lake, bro, and I was just laying in the sand, and it was night, and you can see a lot of stars, bro,
Mm-hmm.
like so many stars you couldn't count. It was just so many stars, and as I was laying there, obviously it wasn't because at the time I didn't meditate, you know,
Yeah.
but I just felt so peaceful because you would hear the crickets, the animals, and just looking at the sky and just like wow, like so to me, when I meditate a lot, I think of that time. I
Mm.
think of that like
That
specific
moment.
time
Yeah.
or that moment where I'm just like I can still feel the air. I can the air, the wind blowing in my face, all the stars. No clouds in the sky, it's just stars everywhere, and the moon. And I remember my he was like the teacher. I guess the teacher at the time. His name is Chris, and he came and he was like, "Why are you over here by yourself?" And I just like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, just taking some time, time alone, because everybody else was somewhere else, right? I grew up like playing games, playing the foosball, and watching something, on the TV with the whole crew, and I was just like, no, I just wanted some peace, and spend time with the Creator. And he was telling me like, oh, how God created the stars and this and that and
Yeah.
everything, and got into full detail and everything. But like I said, man, I just think about that specific time whenever I do meditate, and when I pray too. You know what I mean? I think about that time because being in the inner city, I never really had that time to like be alone or obviously you don't hear only like dogs and stuff, but you don't really have that time unless you go out camping or whatever. So it really made me appreciate that night. Made me really appreciate nature and appreciate the creation. You know
Mm-hmm.
how everything is just like beautiful and perfect. You know.
Yeah, and I remember also like going back to another book that I read a few months ago. It was talking about visualization as well, and it just talked about like mental break, like just like how you were saying, like you don't really have a lot of time for yourself, or you're always surrounded by noise or surrounded by
Mhm.
people when you live, like you said, like in the big cities especially, and sometimes you don't really get that mental break of just kind of like chopping yourself or basically getting away from basically the chaos and everything around you in these cities. But the book also talked about how you could easily give yourself a mental break by visualizing like moments where you feel relaxed or visualizing yourself in a place maybe you probably never even seen before or never been before, but just by simply imagining a place that gives you peace. Like he talked about
Mm.
how he never really had seen the ocean or the beaches, but yet he kind of envisioned himself at the beach, like when he was a younger kid. Like, since I believe he's like from, I don't even know what fucking state he was from, but basically he was talking about like how he had no beaches like growing up, and then it's crazy how he basically would take his mental break by visualizing himself on the beach, even though he had never seen himself or he had never seen the
Yeah.
ocean in that at that point. Like he was able to just kind of relax his mind, relax his whole body by visualizing that he was on the beach. But then again, like it all just comes down to like of course, meditating and visualization, and also just kind of like, I don't know, like being creative with like your thought process, I guess, because I mean, you gotta also figure out a way in which you could actually imagine those things,
Yeah,
especially like if you're imagining somewhere like you never been to. You get me?
yeah, no, and I agree. And like I said, with that friend Ramsey that I was telling you about, he's from the East Coast,
Yeah.
and he had, well, now he has, but at the time, he had never been to the beach. And he told me the first time he went to the beach, it was like mesmerized, you know,
Yeah.
because he's like, wow, like I'm here, you know. Um, yeah, so but visualizing and seeing and visualizing, it's it's a good thing. But remember, you gotta like obviously like take action, you know. Like if he could have stayed out there
Yeah.
and not come to LA and you know, so but yeah,
Yeah,
I
visualize.
gotta I say oh yeah a lot, huh?
I mean,
I'm like
that's kind of like
and yeah
the whole point of this the podcast, bro, is just to basically help us with our, I guess you could say, speech. I feel I also sometimes look back at the podcast and try to figure out a way in which I could sound a little bit more professional. And at the same time, the
yeah
podcast in itself also helps me with a lot of the voiceover. So I do a lot of B-roll in my videos.
mm,
I mean, just for the listeners that don't know. So I do a lot of B-rolls over my videos, and basically it's like commentary over clips that I'm explaining a certain technique or tactic, whatever it is that I'm doing on screen. So just by simply practicing my play-by-play or just being here and being able to chop it up with you without sounding too repetitive, and at the same time try not to murmur or stutter, helps me a lot with the content that I'm trying to
mm,
create for, of course, my viewers on my other platforms.
yeah and no and I'm the very same way. Like I said, now at work, I'm sometimes doing like some professional stuff,
Mhm.
and there's times when I'm just like, so obviously I do look back at the podcast, or sometimes I do go for a run. I listen to this podcast, I listen to like David Goggins or whatever. But I do catch myself where I do, like I said, I say, oh yeah, or you know, or I do say like a lot, you know. But I am trying to grow my vocabulary. Obviously, like you said, become more professional too, you know.
Yeah, I feel with the podcast, bro, it makes it easy for me to communicate my thoughts clearly for the most part. At the same time, you'll see me at times slow down my speech a little bit because I'm
Mm.
not trying to repeat the same words, or at the same time, I'm
Mm-hmm.
not trying to be like, yeah, like in the first
Yeah.
podcast that we did, I noticed that I used the word bro after every sentence. And I just was like, man, next time around, I gotta find a way in which I don't repeat the word bro, 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 because
yeah.
literally I went back to listen to it and it was just like every sentence finished with bro. And when I was, of course, I edit like small clips or small reels for our Instagram, and I would hate to have listeners listen to me like say something and
Bro,
after
bro,
every
bro, bro, bro.
fucking sentence say bro.
Yeah. You know, I agree. Um, I'm pretty sure. But honestly, like I'm gonna have to. Now you make me want to go back and check it out. I'm
Uh-huh.
like, okay, yeah, bro. I've been saying bro a lot, but no, it's good, and that's how we grow, man. Honestly, that's how we grow. And with that being said, I remember I told you over the phone, it's like, bro, like
Mhm.
I wasn't really comfortable with the whole podcasting
Yeah.
because, like, I don't know. To me, it kind of felt like I don't really like. I mean, don't get me wrong. Yeah, I do make music videos and stuff like that, but I don't really. At least myself, like, I don't like being on camera. You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
Or like to talk. You know, to talk and all of that. To me, like I said, I used to stutter a lot as a kid, but that's why I kind of have like I don't even want to look at myself back and just like I mean I would hear it, but I wouldn't like to see myself like on a clip. But oh well, like but I'm gonna tell you, bro, and that's funny. It was funny to me, and that's why I related to David Goggins because he's like I don't like this because I'm not comfortable. He said I still struggle with it, but I do it anyways.
Mhm.
You know, and it just makes me think I'm just like maybe this is the season where that I'm supposed to be doing this. I mean I don't know, you know, but at the time, like I said, right now I'm uncomfortable, but it's something that I feel like it's a good thing, you know, for me to get out of my comfort zone. And eventually, you know, I'm not saying I don't like it. I like it because obviously, like I love talking to you,
Huh?
and we've been talking on the phone for like what, like hours, 2 hours on the phone without the
Yes.
podcast.
At times,
And
bro.
you were the one with the idea of the podcast.
Mm-hmm.
So it's good, you know, it's good, and I feel like it's gonna help me overcome. I'm not saying that fear, but overcome that uncomfortability that I have with it, and it will help obviously both of us with our speech and to become a professional. And to be honest, man, I feel like you sound professional over your B rolls. I feel like you sound very good. You sound confident, and you sound like you know what you're talking about. Obviously, you do know what you're talking about. Oh, I mean, you know,
Yeah, yeah, I
and
got you.
so you definitely have a good career starting, you know, and I'm pretty sure if you keep being consistent like you are,
Mm-hmm.
to me you're already successful, you know. To me you're already successful. To me you're already great because you're stepping out of your comfort zone, you know. You
Mm-hmm.
keep doing it, and you like we talk about all this time in this podcast is consistency, and that's something that you got, you know.
No, yeah. I remember. I forgot what athlete I was watching, and he was giving out an interview, and the reporter herself told him, "Hey, you sound very good with the way that you communicate with your ideas. I like that you present yourself in a way in which you sound very, like you mentioned,
Articulate.
confident, and it flows naturally, and you don't
Yeah.
necessarily like your speech just is fantastic. Like the way that you're
Mhm.
able to communicate your thoughts, and the way that you put everything together makes it quite understandable to the listeners."
Mhm.
And she was talking about like that's usually something that we would learn in school basically because she was a reporter,
Mhm.
and he just talked about how when he was younger, for example, his father would make him repeat his whole day. So you basically repeat your whole day to your dad. And he said that there was instances where he would be like, or like, or he would repeat the same sentences over and over again. So then his pops him made basically repeat his whole day to him. And even though there was stutterings and there was things that were repeated, it would be cool the first time around.
Mhm.
But he would be like, then right after my dad would be like, repeat me the same thing over again, but without using like, so forth and so forth. And that's how he said he communicated a lot better. And then of course
That's
another thing
nice.
that I saw was the fact that a lot of people that are in high paying positions, or a lot of people that make a lot of good money, or that are able to make good business deals, or able to present themselves, even though like sometimes like what they're saying is bullshit, but just by simply like saying stuff
Mhm.
confidently, like it's easy to be able to, like, what do you call it, like it's easy for some people like that to get what they want because people will
Mhm.
buy into like the charisma, the confidence, and are just able to easily, like they're top executives, or they're top people in their fields because,
Salesman.
yeah, because
Salesman.
they
Mhm.
basically could sell themselves and at the same time present themselves in a way where like they attract other people. Basically they attract what it is that they need.
Yeah. No, I know. I A while ago I seen a video. I believe it was Wolf from Wall Street, I think, it was a video that I seen on social media, and I still need to think I seen the movie. It's been a while, but he's like, okay, you want to learn how to sell this pen? Okay, sell me this pen, you know. And he said, okay, do you need a pen or something like that? And then he's like, he's very good because he sells him the pen in the video, you know. So obviously you want to be confident, but also like be good with your words, you know. But yeah,
No, yeah,
see,
I
I did it again. I did it again. You
yeah, I
know,
remember
yeah.
like I said, like I was just listening to like basically what top, how do I say, like how top executives, top like marketers, top people that make a lot of money basically in almost just about any field. I
Yeah.
was just seeing that one of the things that of course is the top priority is the way that they're able to communicate, like just literally
Mm.
expressing like what you want, and exactly giving the people the clear instructions on how you want it, is enough to
Mm-hmm.
basically take companies and to make business deals that are top level, bro. Like taking things from down here to over here, because not only do you also create the charisma that where people actually want to follow you and maybe even listen to you or at least take into consideration what you're saying, but also those deals don't necessarily be are made with somebody that is saying some BS, or if they're saying some BS,
Mm-hmm.
like if it's said in a confident way, it could be enough to sell it, bro.
Yeah, exactly. That's why you gotta use your own due diligence,
Mhm.
and all of that,
Yeah,
and
man.
also do your research and everything.
Yeah, for sure, bro.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I think that basically would be our hour, bro.
Sounds good, man.
Yeah,
I've been